At home with the Richbergs, offering strategies to conquer life with love, joy, and laughter, with co-hosts C. Natasha and Erica Richberg.
Episode 3, Marriage. After being married 42 years, I've learned several things. Being right is overrated. First is to understand before you try to be understood. And that's a Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I've learned that you have to have the same value system.
Yep.
Those are the 3 things I've learned. I've been married 1 time. Erica's been married
twice. And unsuccessful. Each time.
And before we talk about that, I've learned that the success of our marriage was something we did not share with our 4 kids. They thought our marriage was one thing, but we had strategies that we worked on behind closed doors, and they thought that our marriage consisted of me running the whole thing.
Running the show.
But Melvin and I allowed me to be the bad cop, and he was the good cop. So we would decide the strategy on any event, on anything, and then we knew our role, and when we left the bedroom, they thought it was always me. Mm-hmm. They thought I made decisions without him. Ha! I wish. Never. But we let them think that we didn't care. What we didn't know, they was interpreting me to be one way that I really wasn't. We had just decided it was best to work it, our marriage that way. Yeah, and so in doing that, we didn't teach our children that people come into a marriage with different value systems, and they needed to look for the same value. Didn't know to teach that. Didn't know. And they went and thought when they got married, the people were going to automatically match their value system. So tell me, Erica, how was your first marriage? And how long were you married?
So my first marriage, we were married for 10 years. We met and got married after 5 months of knowing one another. But I do say, and I always say this, we grew together. So even in that, even though it was a failure, it still was successful in a relationship that lasted for 10 years. You know, we started out young. I was 20, he was 23. And we just realized that we weren't meant for each other forever. But for that time, it was okay. Yeah. So what was the question?
What was the second one like?
Oh, the second one was just, that was just an example of my self-esteem. I chased him thinking I wasn't going to be able to get nobody else. And he was just like, okay, he let me catch him. And he just continued being himself. Like, we never came together as one, if that makes sense. We really was never on the same page about anything. And it was just hard.
So what did you think about marrying young? Since the first time you got married, you was 20. What did you think about that?
Well, at the time, because, you know, I felt like I've lived my life. At that time, you know, I've dated, you know, I graduated high school. I'm 20. I've lived life. I'm ready for this. And we did it. So, it just depends on the person. I would say now, being almost 40, I wouldn't advise anyone at 20 to get married unless they just been together since they was in kindergarten. Yeah. And that's just the next step.
Right.
But you have to really know yourself. You have to really know what you're bringing into your relationship, what you're bringing into your marriage. And you have to make sure that you do have similar values. Because if you don't, you're just really going to be constantly fighting over 2 individuals that just want to be individuals and don't want to come together as one.
Right.
So that's my biggest lesson learned.
Right. And then one of the things that I've learned, besides, you know, being right is overrated, and you really have to understand before you try to be understood in the value system, you got to look at marriage like a pie, where even if you put it in this to 4, where one of them is you and your spouse, and then the children and work and any kind of religious belief and part. But the main thing, you got to have a space for you. Mm-hmm. you can't be all tied up into who your children are. And you know, me and Daddy weren't.
Yep.
And we made sure y'all did everything. It ain't a sport. It ain't a dance. It's not an activity. It ain't a book. It ain't a trip that you didn't go on. But Mama did her thing.
Yep.
Daddy did his thing. And we did our thing.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people mess up. And when the children leave, there's nothing
They don't
left.
have no connection.
And it's like when you all left, all four of you left, Daddy went from daddy to my man.
Yes, he did. I'm out with my man.
Yep.
We going on a date. I'm with my man. I'm
Right.
like, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Daddy.
I have a boyfriend again. Yes. And we didn't teach you that.
Nope.
So being married that long, the one thing I would do differently, I would have taught you that. I would have taught all of you all that. Because you all have a hard time with relationships. Because you all didn't see us fuss. If I was mad, I looked at him and I'd be thinking, wait till tonight. But and then we work it out. And I didn't tell you the principle that if Daddy get mad, it take 48 hours before I can have that first conversation. Y'all thought you could talk right then. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
And having the support system, I wish we taught you all that. Nobody knows how to be married. But nobody knows how to do the see Natasha and Melvin marriage like us. And you all, children, could have benefited from that. And you all got married based on the illusion of what you thought we would
saw.
do.
Right. What we saw, what from my perspective, you and Daddy working as a team.
Yep.
Don't everybody do that? No, obviously, but we didn't know no different.
Right.
Y'all, Daddy worked night shift. You worked day shift. You covered, making sure you was on our trips. Daddy would make sure he took it to the doctor. Like, it was teamwork. So when we got into our marriages and it wasn't teamwork, or we had to really fight for things that were just natural, this ain't normal.
Right.
So
but we didn't know to teach it. So that's my hindsight is 2020 that I wish I could have taught the lessons of marriage, but I teach you all now.
Yep.
I sure do. I make sure every day this is how we do it and this is how it works. And then even when you try to get mad at your partner, I'm like, he's probably hearing it like this. And Erica look at me and roll her eyes like, no, he don't. And I'm like, yes, he do. And so you just got to understand that we could have taught you all better about marriage.
Yes. But also, you didn't know marriage.
No.
Because you came from a single-parent household, even though you didn't realize it was a single-parent household.
I sure didn't.
And then Daddy came from a marriage where he was the youngest, and he didn't really... And Daddy and Grandpa worked all the time, so he didn't really see Grandma and Grandpa's interaction. So it's kind of like y'all created your own, and then we thought we was emulating y'all's, and none of us were successful.
None of
us. And it's like, but that's what we want. We want what y'all have. We just haven't found it.
And we want y'all to have what we have.
Well, how come we can't get it?
I don't know. That's why we doing this podcast, because we going to figure it out. But I do know that the values have to be the same. Mm-hmm. And being right is overrated.
Yeah.
If you right and they don't hear you, who cares?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. You just want to be heard, you want to be understood, and you want to have some kind of compromise. It doesn't have to be my way, and it don't have to be your way, but what is our way?
Right.
What are we going to do to make it work for the both of us?
And as we bring this to a close, what do I say to you? Erica, get a...
Life.
You got to have a...
Life.
Because if you don't have a...
Life.
You're not going to have a happy marriage.
Yep. And you will always say that. Get a life. I'm like, what does that mean? But now I'm getting it. I'm figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. You look cute over there today.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I see you.
Mm-hmm. I get it from my mama.
Mm-hmm. So words of encouragement. If you and your partner have the same values, that's everything. If both of you want to work through challenges, it'll work out. If both of you know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, you'll find a light. Mm-hmm. That's it. With us, divorce was not an option. It can't be an option. Mm-hmm. If he make you so mad that you got to go live on the basement floor for 2 months, then do it. Because light comes back in the bedroom one day when you get tired of that floor and you want to talk about it. This is C. Natasha Richburg.
And this is Erica Michelle Richburg. You're listening to At Home with the Richburgs, offering strategies to conquer life with love, joy, and laughter. This is a CNR Ministries production, the podcast At Home with the Richburgs, offering strategies to conquer life with love, joy, and laughter. Recorded at Stages Music Arts, Studio A. Audio copyright 2025 by C. Natasha Richburg. All rights reserved.